Alright, so we got the Figuarts Kaiser Belial here. This is a figure I've been wanting them to make for a very long time, ever since the original Ultraman Belial Figuarts came out in like 2017, 2018? I thought, oh yeah, they'll make the Kaiser version pretty soon, right? And then they didn't, and then the original got really expensive, and then they were reissuing him a bunch of times. He was on a cycle of getting really rare and then being reissued. And every time they did that, I thought, no, I'm gonna wait for Kaiser Belial. And then they finally announced a new Figuarts Belial, and it was Darkness Heals edition. Comes with the stupid Deathsium Ray instead of the Giga Battlenizer. Great, guys. And then finally, after like 7, 8, 9, however many years, we have the Figuarts Kaiser Belial, a figure that really should have been a no-brainer, but took them obscenely long to make. So he does look pretty cool. He's got the scar there, he's got the red eyes, he's got the really long crimson claws like Nosferatu. I really like that. This is my favorite look for Ultraman Belial. Revenge of Belial is one of my favorite movies, so I really was excited for this figure. And then he's got that cloak, that pimpin' cloak he's got. And I gotta say, they did kind of do a bit of an job on it. I'm not too happy with how they did the cloak. See, they got the texture on the fabric to look really nice, and then the collar and the sort of lapels and everything on there is sculpted. But the problem with the cloak is it's got a wire in it, so it moves around, it poses. You can see on the box, you can do some more dynamic stuff with it. But if you want it to just kind of lay like it does in the movie, it's really hard because the wires don't go all the way up to the hard sculpted collar. They stop like a centimeter or two short. So like they pose, but they're also very floppy up at the top. But the fabric is really stiff because it's 2 layers of fabric. There's this sort of thicker nylon backing, and then to get the texture they have this crumply sort of spandex material over the top. So the fabric is like paper, and then the wires go in, and yeah, it's really stiff. You really gotta futz around with it to get it to lay right like it should, and that's a little disappointing there. The hard sculpted collar also limits his head movement. This pose on the box you can't really get with him. His head isn't really able to move like that. See, I got him in a pretty cool pose here, but yeah. The Kaiser claws too, which are like my favorite thing about him next to the cloak. They're not quite the same as they looked on the box, and in the promo images they're really metallic and dark and cool, and they're a little bit lighter and just kind of semi-gloss, which they look fine, but yeah, they could have been a little bit better. But the scar does look nice, and he has the hinging jaw, which is cool, and the gems on his lapels look nice. But yeah, the cloak is a little bit cumbersome, a bit frustrating. It takes a while to get him into a good-looking pose with it. The cloak off, you can see he's a pretty standard Belial figure, which is accurate to the movie. It's just Belial with a few extra things added to him. But yeah, you can get a better look at the claws there, all the body patterning. If you have any of the other Belial figures, you will know this is as good as those are. The scar did come out looking nice. Doesn't have some of the smaller cracks that you got on some of the more high-end Kaiser Belials, like the Medicom. You can kind of see the littler ones on the picture of the suit on the box, but it is small enough that doesn't really matter. What I do like is that they also added the eye holes around his fin and above his eyes that the suit in the movie very prominently had. And again, you can see those pretty clearly on the box art. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I dig that. He only comes with 2 sets of Kaiser claws, which is fine, but would have been nice to get a few more. You get these sort of clenching hands, and then you also get the more open clawing hands. Which again, this is fine, but I would have really liked it if they included a set of pointing hands like the Ultra Act came with. You also get a set of normal clenching hands. You also get a set of gripping hands and a set of fist hands, which came with the Darkness Heals Belial. And with those gripping hands, you can have him hold the Giga Battlenizer, which he does come with, unlike the Darkness Heals version. The original obviously came with one. This one is different because they made the monster slots red, whereas the standard one that the original came with was blue. So this is meant to look like he's mons-loading the army, but from a distance you can't really tell. They're so recessed in there. But yeah, it looks cool that they did it, and you get the extended and retracted staff versions. So yeah, obviously he didn't use it in the movie because it was destroyed in the first movie, but it's cool that he has it, and I think it's kind of a nice little throwback to the Ultra Act, which included that accessory because they didn't have fists for the original Kaiser Belial figure, so they just gave you the staff anyway, so you didn't have hands with holes in it. But not with this figure, because they're fun like that. With the retracted version of the staff, an interesting thing is that he actually holds the pole a little bit better than the extended pole. This one's a bit loose in the hand, but if you take a little piece of paper and shove it in the hole for the hand, he holds the extended version just fine. And he also comes with the Deathsium Ray, which the Darkness Heals version came with, but this one is different in that he has it on the hand with the Kaiser claws, not on one of the basic hands. But yeah, it looks fine. I'm not much of a beam effect guy. I don't really ever display my figures with them, but they look, you know, cool. It's transparent red, and you have the black lightning in there. The little blast part at the end is a softer plastic, which is nice because you don't have to worry about it snapping off and getting one of those shards in your thumb and having to force the plastic out, like I'm horrified of that happening with the Figuarts Mebius. So yeah, it's a pretty good looking figure. You know, it's just a shame certain things didn't turn out quite as good as they could have, like the paint on the Kaiser claws, and mainly this cloak, because this is one of the main things about Kaiser Belial, and one of the main things I was hoping they would really get right, but yeah, it just turned out a little, like, not quite what it could have been. You know, the collar is a bit stiff, and generally it's hard to get him to look right in it, but once you do get him in a good pose, it does look pretty good. I'm honestly surprised not very many people seem to pick this figure up. I think maybe all of about 4 people actually got it. I was a bit surprised because you kind of get all of the accessories from all of the Belial figures and more with this guy. He's kind of the ultimate Figuarts Belial, but I guess everybody already had their fill with the other ones, and I'm like the one guy who gives a shit about this look for Belial. But yeah, if you want to be the 5th person to have this figure, then I guess get one.